Alrighty. I'm embarrassed. Let's get settled in, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a moment to call in over souls. Has to be disconnected from the collective. Settling back, settling in from the most exciting video on the face of the planet.
I don't know about that. Maybe for us.
For us. And calling in your true soul essence. And let's get right into the light language.
Kristikestai, nikirai, vrusiten. Karisishai, tirambolo, sitai kirishtiai, no porisikestin, nikiravasin tanto moirasi. Ekeravasen tanto mai karevasin tanto, kestanai porisikestai, ekeravasen tanto. Mai sitediai titirom paikasti, ko lasitai, no resikesteno, kiravasin teti. Sikistai ekaravasan tanto, makariavasanai ekarivasin tintik. Kainavestiento ke tato riesikistaino kekara. Pripapasin tanto mai karesikistai ekaravasin tanto ke arto. Vorisistain to kirasti triaprestento, kiravasan tanto, mori karasintai ekaravasan tanto. Sikristai ekaravasan tanto kiato, nai pripapa kiestakastaino. Morikastai nekedastanta naborianto kiestanaino. Ekaravasin tanke kerambo, kirasa. Kiestanavoisin tanto, ekaravasin tan nakedestunto.
All right. Hello. It is a pleasure as always to be here. We'd love to take a moment to continue to settle in and breathe. There is a really unique opportunity for each of you here on this planet right now that we want to be able to speak into. And since we're starting the night with that lovely video by David and Miriam, we'll use some of that to speak into it as well. These ideas that you're not alone and not crazy have really been all that's been here in this space, in the club, in totality. It's been the core thing that's here. From our videos all the way into the conversations we're having in Soul Line Patriots, it's all the same. How do you get okay with you? How do you allow everything that's a piece of your own internal identity, everything you know yourself to be, every single one of your opinions on what's happening out there, regardless of how liked or how much it fits the current narrative it may be, how much can you bring all of that internal identity externally? How much can you be you in this world? Not just to know who you are, but to be you in the world, meaning let people see it. The reason why this has been here to the degree that it has been is because the world's changing very rapidly. There's a greater recognition of corruption than there ever has been. There's a greater recognition that there's something off here than there ever has been. And that awareness isn't just about government and mandates and lockdowns and the list goes on. It's also about the way everyday life happens. There's awareness around modern marketing. There's awareness around countless businesses and public figures as well, not entirely being who everyone just assumed that they were previously. The image generating isn't working as well as it used to. So the reason why we say there's an incredible opportunity for each of you here is because you've taken a significant portion of time that others simply haven't. To be able to discover who you truly are as the soul, and to build up the inner solidity to face the terrifying fears pressing in order to just simply be that in the world. You've taken a massive amount of time. Think back to the many, many years it's taken you bit by bit to get to this place where you know yourself as well as you do now, where you look out and you see that there isn't much out there for you to fill some wrongness that you don't actually have. This opportunity is to be you in the world and to show others that it's possible. This may be in business, and for many of you it will be. Trusting yourself in your own business, in your own expression, in every single aspect of your life, including everything you're putting out into the world. But even more broadly than this, it's in every interaction that you're guided to have on a daily basis, whether it's online or in person. You being you in this world matters, especially when you're making decisions that are different than the consensus. When you were different than what's already out there, and people are able to witness you in that difference, it immediately either triggers them or liberates them from their own perceived limitations, binding them to the consensus, binding them to just simply what everyone has to do here. And even in that trigger, there's a massive pressure internally that can then later lead to that liberation. Why was I so angry at that person to begin with? For doing what I actually wanted to be doing anyway. Why didn't I allow myself to do that? Inevitably, even if it's just in the background, even those who you were triggering by being you end up thinking. Especially if their soul is highly energizing them to think about that experience. So we know that at times it may feel like you are doing nothing. At times it may feel like your radiance isn't nearly as impactful as those who have the vanity metrics of fame and wealth attached to their brand or their person. But think about your own experience when you personally are deeply confronted. How your own soul is energizing really a thought loop to play out over and over and over again to confront you. It is as if soul is trying to trigger you in a very specific way. Your soul will use examples of things that you run into. Your soul will make you think about something that's triggering time and time and time and time again, and it helps you to refine down into who you truly are. When you allow yourself to be different, to realize that you're not alone for being different, and you're not crazy for being different, you're just simply different. When you allow yourself to be different, soul is able to use you as that example for everyone who comes in contact with you or sees you. Their own souls are able to energize them thinking about it time and time and time and time and time again, so that they can become more of themselves as well. There are massive ripple effects that you couldn't even begin to imagine that come from even the smallest of things that you do, that you say, that you post. So please remember that there's an incredible opportunity for you to be yourself more than ever and to build your own inner solidity, to be yourself, and for that to have a massive ripple effect on the world. Each of you is already doing it. Now, the reason why we want to start here is because there's a massive feeling of uncertainty and a bit of destabilization in the collective right now. And things aren't quite going according to plan for most bodies on this planet right now. And we want you to be able to know and feel that what you are doing is significant in all of this chaos, in all of this collective uncertainty, in the blanket of hopelessness that's sitting on top of most of your planet right now. You're bound to feel some of it. It's bound to get to you at times. The circumstance that you're all in here is bound to get to you at times. And it's inevitable that you're going to feel a bit lost, like you don't quite know where your life is going. And where it feels as though you're not doing enough to contribute to the overall well-being of the planet. It is inevitable that these feelings are going to creep in because right now they're a bit ubiquitous. They're all over the place. Everyone's feeling a little bit lost. Everyone's feeling a little bit hopeless. And more people are recognizing that there is something off here, beginning to explore many of the things that you've been exploring for quite some time. Maybe there is something more to this life than just what's here. Maybe there is something a little bit off here and I can do something different. Maybe I can have my own opinions and truths regardless of what everyone else is thinking and doing. There's this odd pause and uncertainty and blanket hopelessness that's here on this planet right now. But rather than trying to solve this feeling within each of you, We more so just want to acknowledge it as a blanket feeling that everyone's feeling. It's not a problem that you have to solve internally. And in that, you can settle back, realize that it's not really yours, it's just the crappy circumstances that are here right now. Things are worse this year than they were a few years ago, or for the large majority of your body's experience, so you're bound to feel a bit off. That's how biology works. It compares what's here versus your body of experience. If it's better, you feel fantastic, and if it's worse, you feel terrible. Most people feel terrible. When you know this, you can settle back, find your peace, realize that you don't have to fix your emotions and that you don't have to fix something that's rampant in the collective right now. And if we can normalize to this feeling a bit, let it settle to where there's not some huge problem for you to solve. Everyone's a little bit worried about finances. Everyone's a little bit hopeless about the future of your civilization. Everyone's a little bit uncertain about which pockets of truths are the truest and what's going to happen next and where the good and the bad guys are. Everyone. And if you realize that you're not behind, that it's not just you, then you take this problem off of your to-do list internally, and you can see underneath all of this what you are doing. You are taking this opportunity not just to wallow in misery, but to refine as you. You are learning to build inner solidity. You were learning about various pockets of the world. You were allowing your intuition to use this crappy circumstance for everyone to your personal benefit. Divinity is guiding you into the ideal in any circumstance, even when things feel crappy across the board. So not only are you not behind and don't have some massive problem or huge emotional pockets to purge from your being so you can be in joy and bliss and manifest wonderful things. Since none of that is true or necessary, you have the opportunity to settle back, dial into the ideal, and realize that you are not behind for feeling what everyone else is feeling. You're actually quite ahead for dialing into this intuitive operating system. It's hard to believe when you don't feel fantastic and in bliss that you are ahead. But look around. Who is in deep bliss? Massively excited about the future of the world, completely certain that absolutely everything is going to work out okay, that civilization is going to continue, that all the good guys are going to certainly win, and all corruption is going to be removed from your planet. Who is sitting in that place 100% of the time? Where is the person that's doing what you expect yourself to be doing? They don't exist. The truth is, if you are dialing into intuition at all, checking in with yourself at all this year, you are massively ahead. Because your intuition will guide you to build deep inner solidity and to learn about the world to a greater degree so that you can become you with a level of solidity that is unparalleled. So that regardless of what happens, you are prepared to push in and engage as you on this planet. there is a reason why you don't have the massive 8-figure business empire, why you aren't a massive public figure doing something that isn't a genuine representation of who you are. And that reason is because you are listening to your soul and you're being significantly more precise. You will continue to watch public figures destabilize. You will continue to watch businesses and brands destabilize as people begin to see through any sort of manipulation that was here at any point. As people recognize that even those who held themselves as joy and bliss and love are often the exact opposite in their own personal lives. As people see through everything that isn't real, everything that isn't true, you will watch many of the things that your body has aspired to begin to come crumbling down. And over time, you will watch the thing that you are doing right now become deeply revered. We know it's hard to believe that at some point, the public figures and the currency, the awareness and currency will be flowing to those who are speaking their truth deeply, unapologetically, who are transmitting soul on this planet, that will be recognized as value, but it absolutely is already happening. This destabilization that's happening right now is the very same destabilization that you walked through in order to get where you are at. It is inevitable that everyone will see that they can trust themselves and that their intuition is always dialed and correct and true, that they are connected to something larger. And as they witness those doing that thing that they now aspire to be themselves as the soul, as they witness others doing the thing that they wish to do, they will admire, respect, celebrate. You are not behind, you are ahead. You don't have a collective problem to solve. You're becoming you. Because you are dialed, because you are precise, because you are letting divinity guide you to the ideal in every single moment. And while the world continues to run on Windows 95, at full capacity, and you are running on the latest computing technology today, at 1% or 2% capacity, and you feel as though you're doing nothing, you feel as though you're doing not enough, remember that you are dialed into an entirely new operating system. Remember that divinity is guiding you to the ideal. Remember that you aren't passing up anything. Remember there's nothing more you could be doing that would make this thing that's here right now even more ideal. Ideal means ideal. Ideal means the best thing you could possibly be doing. As you check in, as you trust yourself, you are going the fastest, the smoothest, the most efficient. You are moving forward more quickly than you could in any other path. Remember what you are doing now more than ever. Remember that you are not crazy. And remember that everyone else is also having a hard time, that you're not alone in those feelings, that your world is just a little bit off right now. And that's okay. Things will work out. Things will shake out. Largely in part because of people like you who trust their truth regardless of any external pressure to do something else. You are not behind. You're not messing up. There's nothing else that you need to do on top of what's already here. Settle back. Remember who you are. Remember that you are walking with the most powerful force in existence. And that the world will inevitably see that. So triple down on what got you here. Keep going.
If you enjoyed this channel night, there's more where that came from at thesecondparadigm.com. Join the club. We'd love to have you.